So, oh, Hare Krishna, we've got a new one.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. What is her name?
Tanusri.
Sarvashri?
Tanusri Haldar Krishna Priya.
Tanusri.
Tanusri.
Tanusri. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. And she looks like she's how many days old?
15 days.
15 days, okay. Okay. New member of the community. Okay, so how many people here are actually with the Bhagavad Gita class? How many of them?
And
Okay.
this please, who is the participant in Zoom class?
And we assume everybody online is. Okay, so just a few of you are actually Bhagavad Gita graduates. And this is, when was this started? 4 years ago?
It's 22 month of February.
2022, February. And you started it, or who started
No,
it?
it's from 2nd Avenue, our Bhakti Center.
Uh-huh.
One of Prabhu, his name is Karuna Gorangadas Prabhu.
He started.
But that time I am a participant, but he did not continue, then request to me, please.
I see. So, of course, we have many Bhagavad Gitas here. What's this for?
Give it to him.
Oh, okay. Please. Well, it broke. It broke. You have to fix it. Okay.
So first time bring that link, my wife Indulekha Devi Dashi,
Mm-hmm.
and then that time we are participating. Then we are try to continue, and that time language is English, and then it's a go to the Bengali language. Now at this moment it's a Bengali language.
It's in Bengali language. Okay. Okay. So,
So it was Prabhuji Maharaj.
your name is
Joy Gauranga Das.
Jai Gauranga. Okay.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Oh,
Hare Krishna.
we have.
So this was actually the 15 minutes class before in 2022. So it was started with a 15 minutes with a like a 4 to 5 minutes of the meditation, one shloka from Bhagavad-Gita with the translation, then one japa every morning. So Karuna Goranga Das Prabhuji became very busy with his personal life and he got babies, and it was English communities people were participating in the beginning, and he offered me, can I continue? And then I said, my Prabhuji, can you continue? So we
I see.
took that opportunities. Very blessed.
When was that you continued?
2022 February 2nd.
Oh, okay. I thought that was when. When did it start then?
We started 2019 actually.
2019. Oh,
Then
before
during
COVID.
time, every people are home. No
Everybody
people,
was
yes.
suffering with masks
So
on.
finally, it becomes like one stroke every morning, one japa, and everybody shared their bhakti lives, how they started. So it becomes a very good, I think 40 people at least.
So you read one sloka.
Yes, every morning. One
That means you had 700 sessions.
Yes.
Wow.
There is near about 36 and Prabhus and Maharajis give us lecture from India, from
Different places.
different places, Bangladesh,
Oh, I see. I
and
see.
also America.
This is a night
Also
time,
our
nice day.
Prabhu, Sundar.
Sundar Shan did as well. Okay. So,
Even from Mayapur, Maharaj.
even Mayapur
Mayapur.
We
sometimes.
gave a class in the morning, Bhakti Vijay Maharaj. Then Bangalore, Australia sometimes, and Bangladesh also. That's our
Oh, I see. And you were all online doing this.
Online.
Okay, so we have before us here the Bhagavad Gita, and you all have been studying, at least some of you have been studying the Bhagavad Gita. Everybody has heard of the Bhagavad Gita, at least if you're from India. So why is the Bhagavad Gita such an important book? The Bhagavad Gita was spoken in maybe, an hour or 2 hours, something like that. And it was Krishna speaking to Arjuna. Why did Krishna have to speak to Arjuna? Somebody tell me. We're talking about the basic Bhagavad-Gita. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, pranam to the Das of the Lord.
Let me get somebody
I
to.
think,
Can you run this microphone to her? It won't amplify you, but
Hello.
it will record you.
Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandar Pranam, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm not qualified to say anything, but I'm just remember what we were discussed. So Krishna giving this gyan to Arjuna because Arjuna was covered by the cover of Maya.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to do the duty of he's supposed to do. So Krishna gradually give him the lessons how you should act your own job.
Okay, so Arjuna did not want to fight,
Yes.
and Krishna had to convince him to fight.
Yes.
But Arjuna took shelter of Krishna, so that's why Krishna was able to convince him
Yep.
to fight. Now the next question, why did Arjuna not want to fight? He was a Kshatriya. Someone else, see if we can have someone else answer.
That time, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavata. That time Arjuna covered by Maya, he thought all of those are my relatives. How can I kill them?
Okay, good.
Because we are family member also. My grandfather, my brother, etc., etc. So that's why he cannot do this, his job.
Right, that's right. That's what I was hoping to pull out. Arjuna had to have Krishna speak Bhagavad-Gita. Why? Because he didn't want to fight. Why he didn't want to fight? Because he was going to have to kill relatives. So Arjuna had many battles, but this battle he had a problem because his teacher, Dronacharya, and Bhishma Dev was on the other side, and all of his relatives from the Kurus were on the other side, so he did not feel good about fighting. And this is our position. And this is why Bhagavad-Gita is such an important book, because Arjuna was used to fighting, but he was not used to fighting with relatives. So the problem here is that Arjuna has to fight, and Arjuna has to attack and kill people who he actually admires and has affection for. He loves them. He loves Bhishma Dev. He loves Dronacharya. But he has to fight them. And this is where Arjuna's situation is similar, but it's different from ours. So in some ways it's similar, but in some ways it's different. The way that it's similar is that Arjuna is supposed to do something that he's used to doing, but he has to do it against people who he's affectionate to. So that's the issue. He has a desire to not fight because he doesn't want to hurt people he is affectionate towards. He's affectionate to the Kurus. He doesn't want to fight them. And similarly for us, we don't have to fight our family members. We should not think like that. But we have to fight our desires. So, because they're our desires, we desire them. So, The peculiar thing is that we can want things that we don't want. That seems strange, that a person can understand that smoking is bad for them. And they want to stop smoking. But they can't stop smoking. So they want to quit, but they can't quit. They want to smoke, but they know it's bad. So you have a positive desire and a negative desire on the same thing. So that is what makes spiritual life difficult. We know the material world is temporary. We know our family situation is temporary. But at the same time, we don't want to give it up. So why do we have such attachment to everything in this world? Because since we were babies, we learn that we try to get more things that we like, and we try to remove things we don't like. We get more things we like, and we remove things we don't like. And we do that every day, from the morning we get up to the time we go to bed. We try to get more things we like, and we try to remove things we don't like. So we're doing that all day long. And most people in our world don't know that that will never make you happy. It seems like it should make you happy. If I work at getting more things I like, and I work at getting rid of things I don't like, I should become happy. It seems reasonable, but it doesn't work. And the reason it doesn't work is because we have to learn how to please Krishna instead. Now, many of us are devotees. Many of us grew up in some kind of background of Vaishnava culture. So we know this, but we don't feel it in our heart. We may know it in our mind, but we don't feel it in our heart. And this is Arjuna's situation. He knows he should kill his relatives. It's his duty. Krishna has told him to. But at the same time, he doesn't feel like doing it. So he has a desire and an anti-desire. He wants to fight, he doesn't want to fight. And similarly, we want to give up material desires, but we're terribly afraid that if we give them up, everything will collapse. There will be some kind of big problem. So we clutch to our desires. And reading Bhagavad-Gita, the verses, they tell how Krishna convinced Arjuna. Took some time. Maybe, we were talking about this the other day, that it takes, at least it took us about 3 hours to read through all the verses of the Bhagavad Gita in English. Of course, if you do it in Sanskrit, it might be a little quicker. But, so in 2 or 3 hours, Krishna spoke exactly the right thing that convinced Arjuna that he should fight. Now, he spoke philosophy. He explained who Arjuna was. He explained the duty of a kshatriya. He explained life and death. He explained the process of Krishna consciousness, or what we call bhakti. And because he explained it very, very well, Arjuna could understand that there was really no problem. That, as Krishna told him, that all of the people on both sides of this battlefield are souls. They're not human bodies. All of them will die sooner or later. And because they're involved in this battle, they will die in this battle. So their souls will go on. And we all know that too, that our body may die, but the soul will go on. Somehow or other, when each one of us dies, the world will somehow or other continue. I know it's hard to believe that when I die, somehow or other, the world will manage to make it through the very next day, and then the day after that. And it's because we think that we are doing so much to hold up the world. But actually, when we die, we don't have any choice. We have to leave, and the world goes on. Our family goes on. Our country goes on. The people we were friends with, they go on. But we're no longer with them. So we may know by reading Bhagavad-Gita, we may know by hearing from the devotees that we should give up material desire, but we don't want to give up material desire. And the idea of giving up material desire is like terrifying. I'm not saying just to you all, it's also terrifying to me. So material desire, giving it up, is terrifying proposition. It's like you can go to any horror movie and it won't be as terrifying as giving up material desire. We think if I give up material desire, I will die, I will shrivel up, I will have nothing to eat, I will be living in a cave, people will hate me. But no, Krishna explains how to give up material desire. So he explains, and we know, that the most important thing is to chant Hare Krishna. So how many of you chant Hare Krishna on beads every day? Okay, good. So many of you chant Hare Krishna on beads. So this was not my idea. This was not Prabhupada's idea. It was Lord Chaitanya's idea. So Lord Chaitanya came 550 years ago, or whatever it was. What's that? 540 years ago. He came and he told everybody that chant Hare Krishna. So sometimes they did it in music, and sometimes they did it, we call japa. Now, when you chant, you're trying to put everything out of your mind and just hear Krishna's name. And that is very difficult to do, because we're thinking, how can I increase my material desires and add more things that I like? How can I decrease my material difficulties and get rid of them? We're thinking about that all day long. We were just talking about that. So we think about how we can increase material happiness. We think about how we can decrease our material unhappiness. So we're thinking about that. But now we're chanting. So we're still trying to chant, but we're still thinking about that. Again, we want to chant Hare Krishna, but at the same time, we want to think about how to increase our material happiness. So it takes time for material desires to be purified. And we have many mental traps. In Sanskrit, they're called samskaras. The baby seems like new, it just came out of the womb, but that baby has had many lifetimes before. And so in the past life, that baby has been some king, that baby has been some kind of slave, that baby has been very intelligent, that baby has had problems, that baby has been killed, that baby has maybe been tortured, that baby maybe before has had lots of money, that baby maybe before had a big house. Now it's a baby again. So these impressions are on the mind, and very difficult to get rid of them. So we're chanting, and that gradually erases them. but it takes a long time, and we have to chant with focus. So if we don't chant with focus, then it won't have much effect. Won't have much effect. So we hear Bhagavad-Gita, and this Bhagavad-Gita reminds us in the early chapters of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna that you are not this body. In chapter 2, he talks, you are not this body. And the soul cannot be cut, dried, burned, or anything. So you're talking about war. Well, don't worry. Your arrows can't kill Bhishma Dev. Your arrows can't kill Dronacharya. They can kill the body. So he says that in chapter 2. Then he talks about duty. In chapter 3, we learn about how to engage in proper duty. And in chapter 4, Krishna talks about transcendental knowledge, how to understand spiritual life. He explains that, he imparted this knowledge in the beginning, and even though it's in the Vedic scriptures, he originally gave it to the sun god. He talks about the fact that we have a spiritual master, and the spiritual master helps us to understand how to deal with our own problems. Then in chapter 5, he talks more about Arjuna's duty and about the process that he cannot be happy by simply giving up work. He has to work, but work in devotion. And his work is warfare. Then in chapter 6, Krishna explains about meditation. He talks about how there is meditation. And he explains to Arjuna that actually there are many kinds of tapasvis, there are many kinds of jnanis, there are many kinds of karmis, but the best kind is a yogi. And then he explains what kind of yogi is best. And he explains it's a bhakti yogi, not one who meditates that I am God, not one who meditates that I merge with Brahman, but that one should serve Krishna. So that's in chapter 6. So 6 chapters are prelude or preparation for Bhagavad Gita. The 7 through chapter 12 is 7 through 12. That is the actual Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna explains what bhakti is. So he explains that how you can understand him without doubt. And then he explains what is Brahman, what is karma, and what is various other things. And then he explains also in chapter 9, confidential knowledge. What is confidential knowledge? So confidential knowledge is that we are not human beings fighting for sense gratification on planet Earth, but we are servants of Krishna, and we are trying to learn how to serve Krishna when all of our habits are wrong. So this is confidential knowledge. Most people don't know this, but Krishna is explaining it to Arjuna because Arjuna has taken shelter of him, and Arjuna's habits are clean. So Arjuna is able to receive this knowledge. So that's chapter 9. In chapter 10, Krishna explains, I have so many opulences. I am like the light, I am like the sun, I am this, I am that. And Arjuna is very much inspired by Krishna's opulences. And then when he hears Krishna's opulences, he says, can you show me your opulences? And chapter 11, universal form, then Krishna shows Arjuna his opulences. He sees the universal form. He's terrified. Then in chapter 12, after seeing the universal form, then Krishna is asked by Arjuna, which is better, to worship this impersonal form or to worship the personal form? And Krishna answers, it's better to worship the personal form. To worship the impersonal form is very difficult. And so therefore it's not at all easy to do. So this is what Krishna tells Arjuna. Then Krishna tells Arjuna, this is different stages of spiritual life. The best stage is to always think of me. So we cannot always think of Krishna because we are still always thinking about our material desires. We want to think about Krishna, but instead we think about our material desires. So we want to think about Krishna, but instead our material desires get in the way. So we can't do that. But there are devotees who can do that. Those are pure devotees who are very advanced in spiritual life. So the next step down is follow the regular principles of devotional service and develop a desire to attain to me. So that's stage 2. If you can't always think about Krishna, because only people who are pure in heart and have fully realized spiritual life, they can always think of Krishna because they're actually attracted to Krishna. If we were attracted to Krishna, we would never be able to do anything except just talk about Krishna, think about Krishna, serve Krishna. But we do so many other things. So it shows that we are not always able to think about Krishna. So step 2 down is to engage in the practical process of bhakti yoga. So that's why we take initiation from a spiritual master. We follow regular principles. We rise early. We chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna. This is step 2 or stage 2. Step 1 we will eventually get to, but we're only at stage 2. We've taken initiation. Now, there are people who don't want to take initiation. There's stage 3, further down. And they can work for Krishna. They do some kind of activity, and they give the result to Krishna. So that's the nature of these stages. There are more stages, but I don't want to get too much into detail. So each one of us has to decide which stage are we in now. Do we want to engage in the process of bhakti yoga and take initiation, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles? Or are we happy just to do some work for Krishna? Of course, the lower stage means you will go slower, and it means that the material nature will bite you heavier because you are not engaging in the full process, you're engaging in part of the process. So that is what we learn in chapter 12. In chapter 13, we hear some more explanation about various Sanskrit terms. Then in chapter 14, we hear about the 3 modes of nature. In chapter 15, Krishna explains about the banyan tree. In chapter 16, then we hear about divine and demoniac qualities. So what is a demon and what is a devotee? What are the qualities? And then in chapter 17, we hear about people who worship God, but in some imaginary way. The various kinds of people who want to create their own religion. So that's in chapter 17. And chapter 18 is a summary of the entire Bhagavad-Gita again. So this is Bhagavad-Gita. And if we keep reading Bhagavad-Gita, we will learn more and more. And each time we read it, it contradicts the programming we have from many lifetimes. We've been many babies in many houses, in many places, in many countries, at many times, and we've had different problems, and in the end we died, and we didn't make any progress, or we didn't make much progress, so we took birth again, and here we are again. So will we make progress this time? And the best way to make progress is to keep reading Bhagavad Gita, learn Bhagavad Gita, and each time you read Bhagavad Gita, you will learn something new. You just have to keep reading. In the very beginning, you learn some basic things. As you go further, you will learn more and more, and you will begin to realize the Bhagavad Gita is helping you, just like Krishna helped Arjuna. The Bhagavad Gita is helping you. You have material desires. I have material desires. But these desires gradually can be erased, and they can be unglued from our heart by hearing Bhagavad Gita and chanting Hare Krishna. So congratulations to all of you who graduated from the course. And Bhagavad Gita should be studied by everyone constantly. It's a very difficult book. That's why you should learn and hear Bhagavad Gita in the association of devotees. And they can answer questions as to what is really the desire of Krishna, the desire of the Supreme Lord. So anyone have questions or any comments?
I would like to show our gratitude towards you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Tanur Pranam Maharaj, again at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Maharaj, so giving a nice explanation chapter-wise. Even though we study, and you are very right about it, because every time you read, every time there are something very complicated and new. So sometimes I myself go back and read and see, I read that in different way, understood, but now it becomes different way. So it makes me to another windows to go back and see what books can help me more.
Right.
So then go for Srimad Bhagavatam, then looks for the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So everything is so connected. It's so interesting to read again and again. I mean, we don't have no knowledge, very zero based. Maharaj, for your kripa, we will continue studying about it. Thank you.
Will there be a new Bhagavad Gita class, or how will it work now?
We are started with the children now. Children in the evening time.
Children.
So we started with the children in a funny way, they draw, they sing, they recite the shloka. But our objective is to make a sequence of reading Bhagavad Gita. So in adult classes, we are touching some other books. Vaishnav Sadachar, then Nectar of Instruction, one of the devotees started to doing it. So we're planning to continue that as much as we can.
And you do that online?
Online. It's not only in America, it's in Bangladesh, it's in India, it's in Canada, it's in America. So all together, yes. Please give us blessings, Maharaj. And
Hare Krishna. Well, I'm just one man, and we are trying to somehow enthuse and make very prominent how reading Bhagavad Gita more and more, it removes illusions from our mind. We think, oh, I don't have any illusions, but we actually have so many illusions. And when we hear the contradiction of Bhagavad Gita, we think, oh, that's the actual way it is. What I'm thinking is the wrong way. So it makes us feel, after some time, we feel free from many pains and sufferings, many confusions, and we begin to see that one day I will die, and I might as well give my life to Krishna more and more. So in the beginning, it's scary, giving a little piece of your life. You think, well, I give this piece, what if Krishna wants more? And of course, he does want more. But we give a little piece, and then later we can give bigger piece, and then another bigger piece, and eventually we can give our whole heart to Krishna. So it takes time, But if we chant Hare Krishna and we read and understand Bhagavad Gita, it will be much, much easier. That's why we have philosophy. So we have not only Bhagavad Gita, but we have Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So these books, they help us to understand what is spiritual life, how to engage in spiritual life. And then we can see, are we doing it right or we're not doing it right? Because there are so many people who have some wrong concept of spiritual life.
Adding comments, Mara. Sorry to take your time, everybody. Is an opportunity.
Where is the microphone?
Adding
Oh,
comments
somebody
is,
put it already over here.
Is a nice experience for us as well, because in 25 to 35 participants in the class,
Uh-huh.
every day, every morning, we have listened from different corner of the world and different personalities.
Oh, you do this
explaining.
every day?
Every morning.
Every
Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday.
Monday through
Monday to
Friday.
Friday, Saturday, another class. So
Oh, okay.
we're listening the devotees and a different story. Some share very sadly, some share very happily. So there are so much learning among us.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
same time, Maharaj, it is very important realization of ourselves as a couple in devotee family, Prabhupada's family, like how it is so important to be with the devotee association. Because I could read my book in home, no matter what, any times. But when we explain to each other, share each other, it gives us a different insights.
Yeah, right.
So we learn different way. Like one Mataji shared their lifestyle, how they do. Another Mataji shared another lifestyle. So one learn from one each other is wonderful experience of last couple of years we've been doing it. So
No, I
yes.
think that's very good. Then that means
Thank you.
people have a
Sorry,
chance to
everyone.
learn
Please
from each
forgive
other.
me.
Any question?
Okay.